Hi everyone, so we're on to Chapter 10, SAM Project 1A, and it's talking about using macros, controls, and VBA with Excel. So in this case we're working in regards to a college that does career center stuff, and we're being asked to help with entering workshop data into their listing and streamlining forms for their mailing list. And as always, make sure you rename your Excel file _2 before you submit it. And we need to start with making sure that up at the top with your little yellow bar that you'll have, I've already clicked mine, that you click Enable Content in order to add macros, which we're going to work with today. Okay, and then we also have to add something to our ribbon, this is our ribbon up here. To do that, we're going to click on the File button, go to Options, and then click on our Customize Ribbon. Now over here, you're going to click on the Developer tab. For almost all of you, this will be empty, so you're going to click on that. It'll put a tab up here, and you're going to click OK. Well, actually, if you clicked OK, you're going to have to go back and open that up again, so I'll click OK. Because we also need to add something from the Quick Access toolbar, all right, which is the next step. So once we file options, we click on Quick Access toolbar. In this drop down right here, we're going to select commands not in the ribbon and scroll down until we find form and click the add button. You can see that I've already done it, but you would click add and then hit OK, and you'll be ready to actually start. So let's get started. It says go to the event schedule worksheet, and it looks like it's password protected, so I'm just gonna copy this, go to event schedule, we're gonna go to review, click on unprotect sheet, enter the password and click OK. You can now see that it's unprotected because it gives you the option to protect it. Alright, so it says in cell A4, so this is going to be A4 right here, use a data form to enter a new record with the information shown here. So our new button, if it isn't already here, in the drop down you're going to come and select it, okay? But actually it will automatically populate, so you won't have to worry about selecting. But these are additional buttons you can choose, okay? So we're going to click on our form button. You can see that we get one of these, which looks just like that. Now, we're adding a new record, okay? So we're just going to click New and enter the data in as we see it. January 2018 _R2. The event is nothing, and then it says resume review. Resume review. The event date is 1/30/2018. The event time is 3:00 p.m. The event location is Warner-200. This is Warner, and this is 200. And in order to add it, you just click Close, and we'll see that it shows up right down here on the bottom. All right. So step number 3 in cell B4, so let me select B4, enter a formula using proper, so equals proper. We can see that it says it converts a text string into proper case. First letter in each word to uppercase and all others to lowercase. So we are going to do that for cell C4. So I'll click C4, close parentheses, and hit enter. And what we'll see if I open this is that this, which has upper and lowercase, has now been standardized. Okay? It says fill the function to be 11. There we go. Adjust the width. Okay, so I just go in between B and C and double click. Now it's fit to the best width. You can right click and there's a column width, but it doesn't give you that option, so you just hover in between, double click, very simple. And then it says we're going to hide column C because it's the ugly column. So right click, hide. Now it's still there. We can see the little, like if I do this, I can still open up C, okay, but I want it hidden so that it's out of view. All right. So now we're going to actually record a macro. And what this does is allow us to complete repetitive tasks over and over again. So we need to go to our developer tab, okay? And in the developer tab we have things called XML, which we're not going to work with today. Controls, we will work with controls. Add-ins we won't do, but we're going to work with codes, okay? So it says select cell J7. And make sure to use relative references option. Inactive, and then begin recording. So up here we have use relative references. And then I'm going to click record macro. Now it tells us our macro name is event underscore cleanup. And then I'm just going to hold down Shift and L to add that as a shortcut. And then it says this macro splits the event location entry into a building and room entry and include the period. So I'm going to click OK. We're still recording a macro. You can tell it's got the little stop recording thing. So our next step is E. It says we're going to enter a formula equals search. And then it's going to find text. So in this case, open quotes, dash, close quotes, comma, where. It's going to be G7. That's where we're searching. You see that it's highlighted. You can either close the parentheses or hit enter. Either one works. Then it says we're going to move to I7 and enter another formula, which is right, open, and G7, comma, 3. So the number of characters we're looking for. And now what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste this value into here. So I'm just going to right click on the cell, copy, and then you can see that it's got the function up here, right? I'm just going to paste the value. That's what this is here. Now you see that it says 110, just the value. Okay. Move to cell H7, so I'll select H7. We have another formula or function we're going to add, which is left, open parentheses, and it'll be G7. And then it shows a space, so we want to make sure we put a space in there. And J7, comma, J7 minus 1. Hit enter, and you can see that we get the name here. And copy and paste this as well. So I'm going to right click, copy, right click, paste just the values. And it says stop recording. So I'm going to click stop recording the macro. Okay. And then it says assign the macro to the macro button labeled entry cleanup. So I can right click on entry cleanup and go to assign macro. We're going to select our macro and click OK. Now our macro has been assigned to our button. All right. So it says confirm the macro works by selecting the cell J8, and that says J8, and running the entry cleanup macro button or the shortcut command. So I'm just going to click here. And you can see that by clicking this button, it performed all the actions we just recorded on the cell below. It took out Smithfield and grabbed 100. And it says go to J10 and click it again. There we go. So this is an easy way for you to repeat certain tasks over and over again with a very simple process. Okay? All right, so it doesn't matter if this stays on or off, we can move on. So it says use figure 5 as a guide while formatting the center sign up form in steps 5 through 10. So we're going to need to use this and refer back to it for a little bit. So we'll be scrolling up and down. But I can already tell that I need to go to the center sign up form page, which we have, which is right here. Okay, go to the center sign up form worksheet, which is what we're on, and add an option button in the form control to the worksheet using figure 5 as a guide. Hint, the button should be located in range D18 to E18. So what we're going to do is, it's D18 right here, E19 somewhere in this place. It says we are adding an option button. So from the insert, we've got the drop down. We have a bunch of different things we can do. Now we can already tell that this is our circle, so I'm going to hover over that, and it says option button form control. And then I click on it, it gives me this little thing. So I'm going to click as close as I can. And as you can see, I can move it. So I'll try to get it equal. And then it says edit the text in the control to read remove from list. Now, I don't think we can do this, but nope, didn't work. That's doing the cell, not. So in here, just so you know, these are a little tricky. I can try to select it, but it doesn't give me any selections. But I'm at the very end, so I'm just going to hit backspace for quite a bit to try to get rid of all the text. And then click or type in remove from list. And then if I click outside of here, it gives me my text. Okay. Another way that you can do this is if you're around, you can click into a design mode, and design mode will usually give you an opportunity to select some of these items. Okay, but it's just easier to click on it and kind of go from there and select something. Okay, but it gives you an opportunity to select any of these radial buttons. All right, so it says that it is necessary resize, reposition, and control so that it's completely visible and within the box, which it is. Now it says select the option button labeled option button 8 and then edit the text to read US mail. So this is option button 8. And it's not giving me an option to select the button. Excuse me for a second. Sorry about that. I had to sneeze. So, just FYI, I was trying to left click. I need to right click. Okay. You can select edit text from the little drop down, but you still have to, I need to hit delete a bunch in order to get rid of the formatting. And I can't see what I'm reading, but I just typed in US mail, and if I click out here, you can see that it shows up, okay? And you can see that it says US mail up here, removed from list there. So we're looking good. It says select the 4 option buttons in the range F9 to G15. So these are the option buttons here. So I'm going to right click and select. And then once I've selected one, I'm going to hold down Control and try and select the others. Which is proving, there we go. So I got all 4. It's proving to be difficult because I'm selecting the bottom one, then I got to hover above the bottom one to try to get this box, okay? So it might take a little bit of work to do that, all right? I'm not certain, no, unable to do that. So I'm just going to hold down Control, left click, and then I'm going to click the bottom one and then hover just above the top of the box and grab that. And then it says using left option and then vertically distribute the buttons. Okay, so let's see here. We got a format tab, we're going to come up here and we have a little align button. So it says we're going to align left. So now everything's aligned to the left. And we've got a distribute vertically. I'm going to click that. Oh, so we can see that it evened everything out. Okay. Now it says add a group box form control that completely encloses the 4 option buttons. And that's this, what we just did, using figure 5 as a guide. Okay, so we can see there's a box around it just under the contact. So we're going to go back to our developer tab and insert a group box form control. I'm going to click, it's going to give me that, and I'm just going to click it and it shows me a box. So it looked like it was about here and went like this. Let me take a look. So if I click, it gives me an option. I'll make it a little wider. And, you know, that looks relatively correct. So I don't think you can be perfect with this, but make sure the group box completely encloses the 4 option buttons, which it does. Text fields, which may be wider than the text displayed in each button. Alright, so that's why you're over so far on the right here, because you want to make sure that there's ample room for the box that's associated with the button. Okay? Now it says format the option buttons control labeled email so that it has a cell link to K45, and that's an absolute cell reference. So with the email, I'm just going to right click, and we've got a bunch of options in here, one of which is format control. So I'm going to click on that, and it shows me that I've got an option for a cell link. So we're going for K45. So just the $signs make it absolute. Okay. It says add a checkbox form control into the worksheet using figure 5 as a guide. And it says D24, E24, D24, E24. Alright, so it looks like there should be something here. Yeah, and we can see one down here that says other. So I'm going to insert, and we know what it is because we can see what it is. It's a checkbox. And then I'm going to click down here, and I'll move it into where I can say it's roughly in line with everything else. I can right click and edit text, and it said that it's going to be other. Now, what I did was I just typed other, and I didn't delete anything else. Remember how I was telling you that you have to delete everything when you're working with this? So in this case, I'm just going to click to the end of other and hold down the delete. And now it'll just, oops, I deleted my R. Add my R in. So you have to make sure you always delete that text, okay? Alright. If necessary, resize and reposition. We've done that. Looks relatively good. Format the checkbox control so that it has a cell link of pound or $sign. So I'm just going to copy this. Again, I'm going to right click, format control, paste my cell link in here, which is $R, $44, and click OK. And it says in cell L44, use the index function to return a value for a named range, which is request type. So let's go to L44 because obviously this is down here. So let me move over a little bit. We're in L44, so L44. Sometimes an easy way to do that is you can click on the column for L and just use your down arrow. And it brings me back up to the top, but this is what I'm trying to show you. You can see that it's got the numbers here. So I can just come down until it highlights 44, and then I've got L44. and use the index function, so equals index. All right. And now it says that from a named range, which in this case is an array, all right, and it's request type. And you can see that because it's a named range, something that we worked on before, I can just select it by double-clicking. All right. And it shows that it represents the value V44 to V46, so I would assume if I scroll over, yep, you can see that it's just selecting this right here. Okay, so request type. I'll leave it here. And then it says, based on a value in cell L45. So this is L44, so it's going to be the cell underneath. I'll just comma L45. All right, you see that it selects the number, like the cell right underneath. It wasn't easy to click on because of the wording. Hit enter. And you can see that it's returning a request to add to list. So we got right here, add to list. It's option 1. So if this said 2, perhaps it would say update information. But in this case, it's just 1. It's add to list. All right. Excellent. Let's move forward. Oh, looks like we're doing some more fun stuff here. All right. So add a record to the center mailing list completing the following steps. Use the button labeled click to enter contact information. So it looks like we need to go back to the top here. And enter the information shown in Table 1 on the following page. So it says we click to enter contact information. First name is Finn. Then I can hit the enter key, which will click OK. Last name is Callahan. Street is going to be 234 W Main Street. Oh, sorry. ST period. Enter. Oklahoma. Oh. Well, I'll have to go back and edit that, huh? I should have put in the city, not the state, but I'll show you how to fix that. The zip code, it says, is 73000. Hit enter. Daytime phone, 405 555 2313. Evening phone is 405. Click OK, and it says email is Finn_Callahan at example.fcc.edu. Click OK. Now we've gotten through this, but I put city as Oklahoma. Okay, so I've made a mistake, but you'll notice that it says equals city. What I want to do is just come down here into our record and change it here. Okay, this should be Norman. Now if I hit enter and come back up, you can see that it's changed to Norman. If I change it here, I'm going to remove this function and this form will cease to work. All right. So now it says select the daytime phone for the contact by. So we're going to select daytime phone right here. If necessary, select add to list. Well, it's already checked. Select the writing resumes, networking skills, and job search tool. So writing resumes, networking skills, and job search. Confirm that your worksheet matches. So let's go take a look. So we got the 3 on the bottom. We have the add to list. We have daytime phone, and everything's correct now. So it looks like we're good. And it says click to submit. There we go. So what that's done is it's labeled it in here, okay? And it still shows, but it's been submitted. Alright, so now it's time to move on to our Visual Basic editor. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we can uncheck this if we want. We don't need to really worry about that any longer. We are going to click on Visual Basic, this button right here, okay, and this is going to show us a code. Let me make this a little smaller here. And what we see here is our code for our contact information and our info for center mailing list or whatever. And what we need to do, if we look at this too, if we look at Module 1, this is our macro we created, okay? Our event cleanup macro. So when we did all those steps, it recorded all of this behind the scenes for us, okay? So it says switch to the Visual Basic Editor mode, which is what we're in. Let me make this a little bigger. Hint View Code button in the Control section of the Developer tab. We just clicked. Open the immediate window and run the following code. So you noticed when I opened this, there was a little box down at the bottom. It doesn't open automatically. Like for some reason, it doesn't usually open it. Once you do open it, it stays open typically. But in order to get it, you just hit Control-G, and it brings up the immediate window. Okay, it's not too bad, but you can see that you've got options in here, but it's also located under View with immediate window, but Control-G is usually easiest. All right, and now it says we are going to run the following code. So we're actually going to write some code. So I'm going to move this over so that we can see what it does as we do it. Okay, so I'm going to start writing the code. I'm just going to copy what's written here. Sheets, open parentheses, open quotes, center, sign up, form. All right, now you noticed when I was writing this that it brought an argument down at the bottom, right? So when I started doing this, all right, so I believe that looks correct. Sheets, center sign up form, which is this is the sheet that we're talking about. Okay, so we're directing them to select this sheet, and then it says dot group boxes dot visible equals false. So my apologies. Let's just move it over. Now, from the end of here, I'm going to hit enter, and you'll notice that the boxes went away. Do you see that? So we had boxes around these things that we created. What we did was we turned them off. If we change this to true and hit enter, they come back. Okay? So we're going to make it false, hit enter, and we're done with this step. So I'm just going to X out of this. I don't need to do anything else. That's what our sheet should look like. Okay? All right. Now it says here, if you're having a problem, there is an opportunity. Like if this doesn't seem to work for you, you can type active sheets group box equals visible active sheet dot group boxes dot visible equals false. You just need to make sure that you're clicked on the sheet that you're trying to do if you do that. Okay. All right. Now it says with the center sign up form worksheet active, turn on design mode. So design mode is right here. Okay. And then select the button labeled click to clear information. So I'm just going to right click on it. I can left click, sorry. And view the code associated with this button. So if we're going to view the code, we're just going to click on our Visual Basic. Oh, well, maybe. Yeah, My apologies. Right click. I had it right the first time. And view code. Okay, so it shows us this is the code for this button right here. Okay. Now it says enter VBA code shown in figure 7, which is here, as a procedure that will occur when the command button 3 is clicked. Hint, remember there are no spaces before or after the parentheses in VBA code, even if it appears that way in figure 7 on the following page. So, I am going to come to the end of this, and click enter, and type in range, open parentheses. Now you see that this is an argument. It's telling me what I need to do. I need to enter what the cell 1 is, then cell 2, okay? So, open parentheses, it'll be B44, colon, to J44, and that's saying that we're from range B44 to J44. And then when I hit the dot, it gives me different options here. And for here, I'm just going to type clear, and you can see that it brings contents right here. I'll select it, double click, there we go. I use the down button because I want to keep that end sub right where it is, okay? So I'm going to do the same thing, range, no space, open parentheses, K45, colon, so we're starting at K45 and going to L45, close parentheses, period. I'm just going to type in clear again, clear contents. I'll use my down arrow, type in range, open parentheses, open quotes, M44, colon, R44, close parentheses, clear, and choose clear contents because that's what we're doing with this. I'm going to hit enter this time so that I get that next line in there, range, open parentheses, B6, close quotes, close parentheses, dot select. Okay. All right, we're all set. Now confirm your VBA code is correct by switching back to the center stage, the center sign-up form, turning off design mode, and clicking the button labeled "Click to Clear Information." The range B9 to G24 should be blank, and none of the controls should be checked. Okay, so I'm going to X out of that. Come back to this and click off of design mode. Now, when I click this button, everything in here, including all the check marks and everything, should go away. And it did. So my VBA code worked. Okay? And then it shows you what everything should look like, all your different sheets, and how it should end up. Okay? So if we go back to our event schedule sheet, we see that if I scroll over, it looks exactly the way that it should. And if I go to the center sign up form, it's blank. Okay? Thank you very much. I hope you're having a great week.